Hi, welcome back. More story time. Today's more my first Little House books, Going to Town, based on the books by Laura Ingalls Wilder. So here we are, going to town. So their trips to town took much longer than ours. First of all, most of the wagons that they would pull only could go about 18 to 20 miles a day. So if you lived further than that from home, it was a trip, not just to run to the store. And there's a picture of her woods, because at this point in the story, she's still living in the big woods of Wisconsin. So here we go. Once upon a time, a little girl named Laura lived in the big woods of Wisconsin in a little house made of logs. There's Laura in her log house. She lived in a house with her pa, her ma, her big sister Mary, her baby sister Carrie, and their good old bulldog Jack. One day, Pa said that as soon as he finished planting the crops, they'd all go to town. Laura, Mary, Carrie could go too. They were old enough now. Oh, look at that. Big family trip to town. I believe it's the town of Pepin. Laura and Mary were very excited. The next day, they tried to play going to town, but they could not do it very well because they were not sure what town was like. They had never seen a store. Looks like they're having a tea party. One night, Pa said, well, we'll go to town tomorrow. That night, Ma gave Mary and Laura a bath, and then she wound their hair very tightly on lots of little rags. In the morning, their hair would be curly. Yep, they called it rag curls. You'd take a strip and wrap hair around it and then tie the rag in a knot so that you could have curly hair. When Laura and Mary woke up, they put on their best dresses. Mary buttoned up the back of Laura's red calico dress, and Ma buttoned up the back of Mary's blue calico dress. Then Ma took the rags out of their hair and combed it into long round curls that hung down over their shoulders. After breakfast, Pa drove the wagon up to the gate of the little house. He had brushed the horses until they'd shown. Ma sat up on the wagon seat with Pa, holding baby Carrie in her arms. Laura and Mary sat behind Ma and Pa on the board across the wagon back. They were going to town. That doesn't look like a very comfy ride. I once rode in a stagecoach so that you could have the feel of what it was to like a stagecoach. It is not a smooth ride. It is not like riding in a car. It is kind of bumpy. They were happy as they rode down the springtime woods. Ma was smiling, Carrie laughed and bounced, and Pa whistled while he drove the horses. Rabbits stood up on the road ahead, and the sun shone through their tall ears. Twice Laura and Mary saw deer looking at them with their large, dark eyes from the trees. Looks like Jack's following them, too. Suddenly, Pa stopped the horses and pointed ahead with his whip. There you are, Laura and Mary, he said. There's the town of Pepin. So it's on a lake. Laura had never imagined so many houses and so many people. There were more houses than she could count. Laura looked and could not say a word. Still looks quite different than our towns, doesn't it? Pa helped everyone down from the wagon, and they walked up to the biggest building in town, and this was the store where Pa came to trade. As they climbed up the steps of the store, Laura was so excited she was trembling all over. Goodness. There was a store full of things to look at. There were sacks of salt and sugar. There were pink and blue and red and brown and purple fabrics for dresses. There were boots and hammers and nails and big wooden pails full of candy. There were so many things that Laura did not know how Pa and Ma could ever choose. Goodness sakes. When all the trading was done, the storekeeper gave Mary and Laura each a piece of candy. They were so surprised that they just stood looking at their candies. Then they remembered and said, thank you. The candies were shaped like hearts and had printing on them. Mary's candy said, roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. Laura's only said, sweets to the sweet. After they left the store, they walked over to the lake at the edge of town. They all sat on a warm sand, and Ma opened the picnic basket that she had brought. Inside were bread and butter and cheese, hard-boiled eggs, and canned cookies for lunch. Well, they had a nice little picnic. After the picnic was over, they all got back into the wagon to go home. It was a long trip through the big woods to the little house. Laura and Mary were very tired, and baby Carrie was asleep in Ma's arms. But Pa sang softly, "Mid pleasures and palaces, though we may roam, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home." There you go. And I would agree, there is no place like home. And sometimes you have to, like when you're younger and you grow up, then you move out and make your own home. And I encourage you to make it whatever you can to make it feel like it's yours and make it a happy, peaceful place for you. And please come back and hear some more stories, because I think I have 2 or 3 more Little House books, and then we'll start with Macduff and the little puppy named Macduff. And then after we get through Macduff, it'll be time for some Christmas stories. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day.